I've been sitting here for a couple minutes trying to figure out how to start this. I guess the only way to do it is to start it. So we just got home. Um, this is Sunday night. You guys are going to see this in a couple hours. We just got home from Long Island. We spent the whole weekend with friends and family. Seeing my mom, my brother and sister, my cousins, aunts, uncles, all that kind of stuff. But none of that is why we were there. We went up there to celebrate, honor, and remember my cousin Ken. And we're going to continue to do that on this week's Monday Morning Memory from Pugliese Speech Shop. So Ken was a soft-spoken kind of man of few words. So to honor that, I'm going to keep this way more brief than I usually do. I'm sure some people appreciate that. But Ken was married to my cousin Angela, and it's one of those things. You guys were very lucky in our family. When people get married and they're welcomed into the family, we kind of drop the in-law thing because everybody just we just love each other, right? That's all there is to it. So I don't really remember. I can't tell you exactly when I met Ken because I really don't remember a time when he wasn't part of the family, right? So the nicest guy, just wants to do everything for everybody, right? Just always there, always helping. Like he'd be the first guy there, unless Angela made him late, and he'd be setting everything up for like whatever event we had going on, and the last guy to leave because he's cleaning everything up. And the whole time you're there, he's just, what do you need? What can I get for you? He felt like he had to do something, right? It was a pleasure to ever just be around him, And it's kind of funny that we both work for Lockheed Martin, and totally opposites. He's an IT guy, where I'm a grease monkey. But I contacted his boss and whatnot to give him the news that he passed, and obviously it wasn't good news to pass, and I didn't know these people, and it was really not the easiest thing I've ever done. But the people he worked with, he made such an impact on them. It was like almost like they were part of the family because they knew things. They're talking about the stuff, and they're like, one of his boss's manager or whatever, she was like talking about where she went on a convention to Vegas, and there's all these people dressed professionally. There's got to be 20 people there, and she's explaining to everybody. And so Ken worked remotely a lot. A lot of people didn't know who he was, like in person, right? So they're like, "Oh, Ken's the guy on the side, wearing the Eeyore costume," right? So it was Halloween. He loved to have fun, right? So it was kind of funny that, Ken was also 6'3", 6'4". He stood out, right? She could have easily, but he's the only guy wearing an Eeyore costume, right? It was just his personality came out no matter where he was. And I said he wasn't like a talkative guy. He kind of just, but everybody knew he was there, and he was always there to greet you, all that kind of, just a pleasure. Like I said, a pleasure to be around. And when my uncle called me and gave me the news, I couldn't believe it. We actually share a birthday, and he was younger than me. He's like 9 years young, to the day 9 years younger than me. So you don't expect that. It was very unexpected, and he has his wife and then two twin 4-year-old girls, and it's crazy to think how this all happens, and he wasn't it's a car channel, right? He wasn't I can't say he wasn't a car guy because he loved that Tesla, right? Not my bag. We all know that. But it's kind of, I remember talking to him right when he first bought it. And I'm like, what's the deal, bro? So like you really worried about the environment? And he said, no, don't let it fool you. I just like gadgets. So big computer guy, video games, that kind of stuff. And he loved that thing. And actually, the kid was just telling me a story where Andrew went to school on Long Island. And Ken was taking him home he came home for Easter. And he had the caddy. So imagine that, it didn't start. He took an Uber there and he was going to take one back. Ken's like, no, I'll drive you home. Well, neither one of them are big talkers. So I was like, oh, man. Andrew's telling the story just last night at dinner. And I'm like, oh, how'd that go? And he's like, well, yeah, we both started staring out the windshield. And then Andrew's like, hey, what's up with these Teslas? I hear they got like a lot of gadgets or whatever. And Ken's like, this is what we trained for. He just, talked. The rest of the ride there, he's talking about, the self-drive, all the stuff that, these Teslas have. So it's just funny that, all these things stick out in your mind. So actually the only Tesla I've ever ridden in my life was his, and we're at my cousin's bridal shower. Now, I know that sounds weird. He was setting stuff up like he does. He was doing all that stuff, right? And I showed up to drop Megan off, and I was going to take off, and him and my uncle were there, and like, hey, you want to get something to eat? Like, all right. So the girls were out back at this place on Long Island. It was July. It was Megan's birthday weekend. It's July. And they were in this like plastic room that the AC didn't work. It kind of was more like a greenhouse. So they were cooking back there, and the three of us were in a restaurant enjoying a nice air conditioning, the same meal they had, which was phenomenal. And just talking about whatever, just doing it. And something was forgotten, so I think it was flowers. So it's like, Ken, I need you to get the flowers. So he's like, all right, let's go. So we're going over there. He's like, no, jump in mine. He knew where he's going. I didn't, right? We jump in the Tesla. I don't even know how to open the door. He's laughing. We get in it, and he's cooking, man. He's doing this, and I said, hey, man, this thing gets it, huh? He's like, oh, yeah, forget about it, right? So I was like, hey, we gotta get flowers, right? He's like, yeah. So we passed like 4 or 5 stores. He's like, no, I gotta go over here because I know where they're at in this store. We're gonna run around. I was like, all right, man, you gotta figure it out. And he did, right? We hit the store, we got all those flowers, and we came back, and he saved the day. It was just one of those things. That's how he did everything. And man, I'm gonna miss him. Everybody's gonna. So we, I'm sitting in front. See this bottle right here. Him and my cousin Angel gave me that for my when I retired. Almost over 8 years now. Over 8 years ago. Came down here from Long Island, which is not an easy trek. Right? It's supposed to take 5 hours. It could take up to 8 hours, or who knows? Because you're leaving Long Island, and it gets nuts. But they drove all the way down here just for that, just for a 2-hour ceremony, a little party afterwards. So, it gets you right there. And I can't help but think, but it makes you think, right? That he was 40 years old, and it's I'm gonna leave you with this. My 100 years ago, I played high school football, right? And I had a coach that used to say this every time: play every down like it's your last. Live every day like it's your last. Because you know what? It just might be. So take this chance, man. You got people around you. Let them know how you feel. We talked about it before. Don't go to bed angry. All that kind of stuff. That's real, man. And yeah, that's I've already said more than Ken probably wants me to. So rest in peace, guys.